10. First, the highlights. Lagos State Governor urges protesters to eschew divisive utterances, calls for dialogue, peaceful resolution. Pharmacist laments spike in incomplete malaria treatment. On the front in France, rail company predicts continued travel disruption all weekend. And in sports, Argentine footballer Lionel Messi to meet Inter Miami League's cup match against Puebla. And now the details. I am Mike James. A Legacy Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has sent a word to citizens planning nationwide protests, urging them to tread with caution while they exercise their constitutional rights to freely express their grievances. Sanwo-Olu, who acknowledged their rights to air consent about socioeconomic situation in the country, said the government remained open to dialogue in order to resolve the citizens' complaints. The governor advised those aggrieved to refrain from divisive utterances and actions that may threaten the safety and peace in the country, noting that those issuing threats and ulterior intentions which border on breakdown of law and order. Sanwo-Olu spoke while receiving on courtesy visit members of the House of Representatives Committee on Public Assets and Special Duties, led by its chairman, Ademori Kuye. The governor said the President Bola Tinubu-led administration had shown commitment to employing dialogue to peacefully resolve citizens' grievances, stressing that government would not rule out continuous engagement with aggrieved parties in the interest of stability and strengthening democratic governance. The Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps (NSCDC) has instructed all states commandants and their personnel to safeguard the nation's critical infrastructure in light of the upcoming nationwide protest. NSCDC Commandant General Hamid Aldi underscored the core mandate of the organization, highlighting NSCDC's dedication to protecting vital infrastructure, including oil pipelines, electrical power installations, communication equipment, and railway facilities. A nationwide protest scheduled for August 1 to 10 has been creating considerable tensions and eliciting diverse reactions from Nigerians. Various groups involved in organizing the protest have indicated that it was triggered by the rising cost of living and the economic difficulties experienced by the public. The Mandate Secretary, Women Affairs, Federal Capital Territory Abuja, Adedayo Benjamin Lani, has commended the efforts of the Lagos State government towards poverty alleviation and empowering women to become economically independent. Speaking during a courtesy visit to the Ministry of Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, WAPA, Benjamin Lani said she and her team are in Lagos and working and understand the tour of some of the projects and programs of the ministry as it relates to women. She said Lagos has always been a pace setter and model state that everyone follows and learns from, applauding the various initiatives of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu being implemented by WAPA. Welcoming the delegation to the ministry, the State Commissioner for WAPA, Bolaji Dada, said Governor Sanwo-Olu is a gender-friendly governor and has always been supportive of all the women-related programs, which are all targeted at eradicating poverty while empowering women financially. She said the ministry presently has 19 skills acquisition and 20 vocational centers, which are all tuition-free, where women are taught various skills, and upon completion, they are empowered so that they can take off immediately. Minister of State for Environment, Ishaq Salako, says indicators from the National Gas Flare Tracker shows that Nigeria flared 148.7 million standard cubic feet of gas in the first 6 months of 2024. Salako said Nigeria's commitment to achieving a just transition to net zero emissions had garnered significant attention on the global stage. He noted that the commitment is evidenced by the establishment of frontline advocacy initiatives following the signing of the Just Transition Declaration and the announcement of the ambitious 2060 net zero goal in 2021 at the United Nations Climate Change Conference of Parties held in Glasgow. The minister lamented the most international oil companies are not responding to the government's gas flare transparency and accountability, adding that operators in the Nigerian oil and gas sector have a responsibility to lead from the front to support the vision of the country to end gas flaring. And now to the rest of the stories. Pharmacists have expressed concern about the increasing number of incomplete malaria treatments by patients in the country. They warn that this trend could lead to heightened resistance to medication and a surge in severe malaria cases. Consultant clinical pharmacologist and malaria scientist at the University College Hospital Ibadan, Oyo State, Michael Obaru, stated this on the sidelines of the 43rd Annual Conference of the Association of Community Pharmacists of Nigeria. Obaru lamented that over 6% of Nigerians discontinue oral medications while undergoing treatment, which he said remains a significant barrier to effective malaria management. He highlighted the importance of addressing poor adherence to medication use in malaria treatment while explaining that one way to address poor patient adherence is by using antimalarials that come in soft gel capsules, known for their enhanced bioavailability and patient-friendly properties. Another pharmacist, Abimbola Bowoto, noted that incomplete treatment of malaria is a growing concern, adding that using patient-friendly antimalarials in soft gel form could help address the challenge of poor adherence to treatment and reduce mortality from the health condition. The federal government says it has mobilized $2.2 billion in external finance for the Nigeria Health Sector Renewal Investment Initiative. The scheme, as President Bola Tinubu approved the establishment of the sector-wide coordinating office program. Management units domiciled in the office of the Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare. In a statement signed by Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Ajuri Ingilali, the government said the move is to ensure efficient, transparent and accountable management of external grants mobilized towards the implementation of the Nigeria Health Sector Renewal Investment Initiative. The sector-wide coordinating office program management unit will report to a steering committee, Ministerial Oversight Committee chaired by the Minister, including the Minister of State, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning, and relevant development partners. The federal government says 125 Boko Haram terrorists and financiers have been convicted in the resumed mass trial held in Kainji, Niger State. Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Lateef Fagbemi noted that the convicts were tried on charges bordering on terrorism financing, rendering material support, and cases relating to International Criminal Court's criminality. Fagbemi, who said the trials were held on the GIWA project, Kainji Phase 5, before 5 federal high court judges led by Justice Binta Nyako, noted that all 125 of the Boko Haram members were found guilty of the charges brought against them. He added that the courts convicted 85 persons for terrorism financing, 22 for ICC-related crimes, while others were convicted for terrorism and were sentenced to various jail terms. And in some foreign news, French rail company has warned that disruption from Friday's sabotage against the country's train work could last until the end of the weekend and affect hundreds of thousands of more passengers. Junior Transport Minister Patrice Vegret said around 250,000 people had been affected on Friday, while up to 800,000 could face delays and cancellations by Monday. He noted that disrupting holiday travel rather than Friday's Olympic opening ceremony was the most likely aim of the saboteurs. It will be recalled that coordinated arson attacks on 3 lines of the high-speed TGV network have caused chaos for travelers hours before the opening ceremony for the Paris Olympics. Prime Minister Gabriel Attal described the attacks as acts of sabotage. And then in sports news, Argentine footballer Lionel Messi will not play for Inter Miami as the defending League's Cup champions begin their repeat bid against Puebla. Miami coach Gerardo Martino, who stated this at a press conference, said the 37-year-old striker suffered a right ankle injury in his nation's victory over Colombia in Copa America final this month. Martino said Messi remains in a walk-in boot as he works with club trainers, but the ankle is getting better. And that was our news at 10, but just before we go, maintain adequate distance from the vehicle ahead of you to avoid collision. You can follow us and like all our various social media platforms: X, Traffic Radio 961, Facebook, Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM, Instagram, Lagos Traffic Radio 961. Subscribe and watch our news and programs live on YouTube, Traffic Radio 961. And you can also visit our website, www.trafficradio961.ng. Did you know that the Sanwo-Olu administration initiated 500 hectares rice farm technology intervention project? Well, you can always get more details on the Lagos State Government website. And to end the news, here are the highlights of the major stories. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has sent a word to citizens planning nationwide protests, urging them to tread with caution while they exercise their constitutional rights to freely express their grievances. Pharmacists have expressed concerns about the increasing number of incomplete malaria treatments by patients in the country, warning that this trend could lead to heightened resistance to medication and a surge in severe malaria cases. We also told you that French rail company has warned that disruption from Friday's sabotage against the country's train network could last until the end of the weekend and affect hundreds of thousands more passengers. And then in sports, Argentine footballer Lionel Messi will not play for Inter Miami as the defending League's Cup champions begin their repeat bid against Puebla. And for contact with the newsroom, send a message to info@trafficradio961.ng. That ends the news broadcast compiled by Adiwale Olukboroku. Thank you for listening. My name is Mike James. Beautiful morning to you, Lagos.